Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ramadan Conversations Stronger Together, brought to you by the Turquoise Harmony Institute. I'm your host, Shabnam Palesa Mohamed. We want to thank our audiences for your positive and amazing feedback on episode 2 of Ramadan Conversations Stronger Together, featuring the Archbishop of Durban, Cardinal Wilfred Napier. In episode 3 of Ramadan Conversations, We Are Stronger Together, we will be enjoying the iftaar dinner experience of two interfaith families, the Inal family as well as the Payton family, and their lovely children. We'll also be sharing a very uplifting message and empowering message in a video called Religious Tolerance is an Absolute Must. And of course, we will be in conversation with the renowned scientist, Professor Salim Abdool Karim, who is one of the scientists at the forefront of the battle against COVID-19 in South Africa. In between all of this amazing content brought to you by the Turquoise Harmony Institute, we will be sharing very special Eid greetings for our viewers in South Africa and around the world. We look forward to you enjoying this episode and sharing your feedback with us. Let's enjoy it together.
To all my Muslim friends and your families, I wish you all a blessed Eid. I wish you all a happy Eid. May your celebrations and prayers bring relief and release, particularly to those who live in fear, hunger, and anxiety during this COVID-19 lockdown and pandemic. Happy Eid. A blessed Eid, Eid Mubarak to all of you.
Greetings. My name is Reverend Theo and this is my wife Mariki Himan and we are from Pinetown in KZN.
We would like to wish our Muslim friends Eid Mubarak.
We realize that during this COVID lockdown time, it's been a challenging Ramadan in this year. So please remember that we have been thinking of you and praying for you during this challenging time. Again, we want to wish you
Eid Mubarak.
Go well. Bye.
Shalom, dear friends. On this occasion of Eid al-Fitr and of Ramadan 1441, I want to greet you on behalf of myself, of my family and my community. Ramadan this year was celebrated like never before in the history of Islam, with unique predicaments like never before. And now when the Eid comes, one can clearly say, as it is written, Kad aflaha al-mu'minuna. Indeed, the believers have succeeded, those who are humble and submissive in their praise. As we walk out from the holy months of Ramadan back into the mundane, to this new mundane in this reality, then we are not alone. There is a merciful and eternal Father with us, who is calling us to follow His lead and to do ourselves acts of peace and acts of justice. I greet you well and I wish you health and joy and prosperity. Amen and amen. Shalom, shalom.
I'd like to, on behalf of the ANC in the Western Cape Legislature and also as leader of the opposition, wish all Muslims a blessed Eid on Sunday.
So in this segment of Ramadan Conversations Stronger Together, you get to experience the interfaith iftar dinner enjoyed by two wonderful families, the Inal family and the Payton family, and their children. Look out for a very special Eid greeting from the children involved in this segment.
When a Muslim family been fasting all day, they break the fast, which means they celebrate by eating a meal together. And from that evening, I understand they then open their home up and share the breaking of the fast. And I think for white South Africans, and I speak purely from my own point of view, we don't have this sense of community where we can just go into somebody's home and be welcomed to that extent. That was quite a big thing. I also thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for my children to experience a meal and conversation of a different level. You know, we can't keep our kids in a bubble and pretend that this is a reality, just the four of us. There's still so much misconception around how things really are and what people are really feeling. And we build up these walls of separation because we think we're so different. But there's just things that we do that are maybe slightly different, but I think at heart we're all the same. In that space and in this experience, I think I got a real sense of it's okay.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together, brought to you by the Turquoise Harmony Institute. I'm your host, Shabnam Palesa Mohamed, and it's a pleasure this evening to be in conversation with two amazing families who had an incredible Ramadan iftar experience that they're going to be sharing with us. Welcome to both the Inal and Peyton families. Welcome to Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get to know a little bit about our guests, who you are, what you do, what's important to you, what you enjoy doing. Let's start with the Peyton family.
So my name's Anne Bothwell Peyton, and I'm a counsellor. That's predominantly what I do. I work with a refugee NGO, and I work a lot in private practice as well. So I'm very involved in a range of things. I'm interested in interested in conversations that go wide and broad, and I'm linked to a lot of training that links to mindfulness or TRE or Jungian philosophies, and I'm very interested in how to bring the best out of people, how to work with people who are disenfranchised in some way, but how to bring their true nature to the fore so that they can live their life fully. That's what I'm interested in trying to do. Yeah.
And I'm
very interesting.
I'm a musician, a composer, and I'm very interested in community building. So we have been part of a community in Cape Town for the last 13 years that is quite alternative. It's religious, but it's not very well defined, and we keep it that way on purpose. And at the moment, you'll hear more about the COVID-19 phase of our lives, but we are building community as best we can under the circumstances.
Beautiful. So let's move to our Inal family, who you are, what you do, what's important to you, and what you enjoy.
Okay, let me start first. I'm Rabia Inal. I'm from Turkey. I've been living in South Africa for more than 15 years now. I wanted to become a maths or science teacher. I became religion studies teacher, and now I am computer and Turkish teacher. I love people, and then I volunteer at Turquoise Harmony Institute in Cape Town. Yeah, I think that's all.
Wonderful.
Right.
Aideen?
And I'm her husband, first of all. I'm also originally from Turkey, but I've been in South Africa for more than 20 years now, so I stopped counting. And I am the regional director of Turquoise Harmony Institute in Cape Town. So I do coordinate the activities of Turquoise, which I think is known to everyone. To focus on intercultural dialogue, promoting social cohesion and understanding between people of different backgrounds. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And the children, let's find out about them. What do they do? What do they enjoy?
I'm lost.
Okay. My name is Nuria Inal, and I'm in grade 7. I go to Star College, Sebram Park in Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
I like sewing and art.
Wow, lovely. And your sister next to you?
Yeah.
Nida.
My name is Neda. I'm in grade 3. Okay.
What do you enjoy?
I'm going to continue. My name is Mehmet Ayhan Inal. I'm in grade 5. I go to Star College, Sebram Park. I'm very interested in engineering, mechanical engineering, and two of my favorite things to do is woodwork, and I like making like knives out of what do you call it now? Anything.
It's lockdown.
Very interesting.
And
you've got an innovator there.
I have to play the piano, the violin, and the guitar.
Wow, that's quite a resume he's got already. Wonderful. Nida, you've collected your thoughts, my love.
Yes.
What do you enjoy?
I enjoy reading and helping my mom with the housework.
Very good. Very, very good. That's always good to help your parents. So how did you meet and end up having iftar together? Let's start with the Inal family. How did you meet?
Okay. I met Nick through Cape Town Interfaith Initiative. We have met at events that were hosted by them. And then we started talking, then we met separately once, I remember. And then we kept our contact going. And when we had our iftar program, where we invite our friends to the homes of our volunteers, I think Nick said that they wanted to host us for iftar, and it sounded really great, and we accepted without thinking.
Nick, what's your recollection of that time?
Well, we had a really wonderful evening. For us, one of the hallmarks of the type of spirituality that we're interested in is that it's very much of the home. So we're not part of any formal religious organization which might have a temple, a mosque, or a church. So for us, being able to express hospitality and to build friendship is actually a core spiritual value. And certainly last Ramadan, when we had the opportunity to offer an iftar, I mean, we didn't know what we were doing, but we just knew that it involved hospitality at Ramadan, and that's what we did.
Yeah, because it was very social, very connected. There's such a lovely family. We had a lot in common. All our children were involved. There's lots of music and food and laughter, and it was a very special time.
Can you share your experience of that Ramadan iftar dinner with the Inals? What was the experience like?
For me, I had a new insight into certain traditions. For one, it was the way in which the prayer was done. I hadn't seen that before, particularly the way they did it on our lawn in front of our home. There was something about that. It was also, we were constantly talking about what this meant and the kind of where we were coming from in terms of our own tradition. So it felt like a lovely commonality, even though we were coming from different places. It was mainly around, for me, the actual connection, the fact that we had moved away from our traditional communities and we were making this connection. And that for me was the most important, actually, the relationship that we had forged. And this idea that we all have so much in common, and that there's such an intersection in all of our beliefs and our ways.
Yes,
far more we have in common.
Yeah, well, we do, and I think for us it was a first. We'd never hosted an iftar before, but it's part of an ongoing journey that I could tie back many years. And that is a journey towards what I think the Arabic word is best describes, which is tawheed. So the idea that ultimately everything is one and ultimately defines us, and the illusions of separation that we experience in this world are that they are illusions. They're not the reality. The underlying reality is that we are in common. So we're all looking at our own religious traditions. And we are reevaluating some of the negative myths associated with them, such as ours is the right tradition and all other traditions are wrong. So I think we've passed that point. So now the question is, well, now that we've agreed that we have a lot in common, what do we do with that? What do we do with the unity we are discovering, the Tawheed that actually is present with us? What are we doing with it?
Absolutely profound. I'm going to add a quick question in there for the patrons. Does Tawheed remind you of Ubuntu?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you come to the heart of someone else, wherever they are, in some form, you are finding the commonality of humankind. You actually realize that everything comes down into a kernel. At the kernel, it's all similar. And I think that's what we've come to, is that the kernel in each of us is actually really similar. So it's beautiful not to be exclusive, it's to be able to come to the reality of what that kernel holds, which is all the same.
It reminds me of the saying of the poet Jalaluddin Rumi when he says that the lamps are different, but the light is the same. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we love Rumi, so I concur with that.
In our family, what was it like to have iftar in the home of a family that was not the same faith as you? Was it unusual? Was it strange? What did you enjoy about it?
I think from in my perspective, it was wonderful. Actually, we met with Anne only once. Like at the school, we have hosted a group of people for iftar, and then next day Anne messaged me saying that they want to host us for iftar. So it was wonderful. You meet someone for the first time, but you feel connected. And when we went to their house, although you don't know, they are not from your religion, but you have no worries. When you go to their house, you receive the hospitality, warmth, and then you feel comfortable like your home. So from this perspective, it was wonderful. And then it reminds me purpose of our life, how we live, what we live for, connects us. So it doesn't matter if we are from the same religion or not, but when we have the same purpose and the same intention, so yeah, we feel connected immediately. So it was such a wonderful.
How wonderful!
My side, yeah.
Children, what do you remember about the iftar dinner? What did you enjoy?
I loved it very much because they had these dogs, and I love animals, and they were so cute. I like to play with them, and the thing that I loved most was the music room. Yeah. I loved the instruments, and I even saw some instruments that I didn't even see before. I didn't even know that it was invented. So it was pretty much like a and they were
wonderful experience.
Very kind.
And
yes.
And Nida, what did you enjoy?
I also enjoyed the dogs, and there was a trampoline. I enjoyed jumping on there.
Lovely. It sounds like all of us should have been there at this iftar. We all missed out. What does it mean to be able to share your faith as a spiritual experience with other people? Patents?
For me, it's been a real journey, because I think you start off in a quite cocooned way within your own kind of tradition. And although my family were very strongly scientific and weren't at all religious, I always sought out spirituality in my tradition. So I went a different path to my actual original family. But it was almost like you form a cocoon first, and then you break out of the cocoon. And so it feels like the breaking out of the cocoon brings you the depth and the breadth that the truth of the religion, the perennial truth of that religion has and holds. So it feels like that's what's happened, as we've gone past the containment of youth, and we've now moved into the more mature aspect of the commonality. And of course, it's all the same when you get to that depth and that breadth. It all comes down to the same spirit. So that's been a big change and a learning for me.
Interspirituality or interfaith connection is not an optional extra. In my perspective, it's absolutely core to what I would call my religion, is that I relate to all religions. So it's, a lot of Christians will have a positive view of interfaith. They'll say it's a good thing, people are getting on. Other Christians will have a negative view. They say, well, you shouldn't mix with unbelievers. So you've got a range in Christianity of attitudes towards other religions, but my personal conviction is that it's not optional at all. I, in my heart, feel I'm just as much a Muslim as anybody, and I'm just as much a Christian as anybody. I don't expect people to. I'm not asking for people to affirm that, but that's just how I feel within myself.
Beautiful. In our family?
I think the essence and the main purpose of religion is human perfection, and spiritual growth, spirituality has a big part to play in that. And basically, religious experience or spiritual experience is like climbing a mountain, with climbing it on different sides. And when I witness someone else's spirituality and how they approach it, then I get to know the other side of the mountain, what it looks like on that side. But the idea is that we're going towards the same thing. It's about, like Nick said, it's about Tawheed. It's about human perfection. We're climbing the same mountain. And it's always great to share experiences instead of fighting your path is shorter and my path is longer, kind, or easier, or the more difficult thing. It's about knowing each other's perspectives and without judging, in a non-judgmental way. And I think one of the best experiences about these iftar dinners is that we are not there to see and judge one another. We are there to share that experience and to learn from one another, and that's exactly what we did. And we had Nick and Anne played music for us. We couldn't join. I'm not a good musician, but definitely. But we enjoyed it so much, and it was great. So it's about human experience, and sharing spirituality is something. It only grows my own spirituality. It doesn't actually hinder my progress.
That's right. Yeah, doesn't take away from it.
So these are small efforts, people coming together, for having these iftar dinners together. But what does it mean for the greater good of society? Is this something that everybody should be doing? Patons?
Well, I think there's an inevitable connection between what you do inside your heart, in your life, in your home, and the greater society. If you're not, as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. We can't have a split between how we operate in our private life and then what we think should happen in society. It's got to be the same thing. So, and I believe very much in the power of personal commitment, personal conviction, to change the greater society. So I'm not very political in that sense, in that I expend my efforts on the masses. I would rather expend my efforts on my immediate world, and through that light it's like lighting a fire. I don't want to try and light a fire that's 2 meters away. I want to bring together the coals that are burning, and the fire will burn of its own accord.
And I mean, I think what I feel is that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. So I think that's shown in kind of fractals, in the way in which lots of that sort of idea that God's heart is a fleck in our heart, that there's a sense of we're reflecting something much more enormous and omnipotent than we could possibly imagine. So we are in some way a small reflection of something much bigger. And so I think all our acts, especially if they're positive acts and they're connected acts, they have that ripple effect of impacting the small, but it actually also has the potential for the bigger. So it always feels like all small actions, seen or unseen, have a great impact.
In our family, what are your thoughts?
There is a saying in Turkish which I love. If you want to fight with darkness, just be a candle. I love that. I think there is nothing small. When they all candles comes together, brings a big light.
To children, do you think that more people should have these interfaith dinners and events together and spend time together, people from different backgrounds, different religions? What do you think?
Yes, I think that they should, because you meet many new friends and like good friends, and you understand other people's religions better.
Girls?
Yeah, I think it should also happen. Yeah.
Why do you think so?
Because like the best way to make peace is when we know each other better.
So would you like to give a Ramadan and Eid message to Muslims in South Africa, in Turkey, and around the world? Let's start with the patents.
Well, I think I would carry on my message of opportunity. I think there's an opportunity worldwide for us to reset our thinking. One of the ways in which we can do that is to reset our thinking about religion, and to realize the actual oneness of all spirituality and of all humanity. So I think that would be my message. I know that's not very Ramadan-like, but that's what's on my heart.
My message would be around the fruits of the Spirit, the patience, kindness, self-compassion, peace, joy, and self-control, and of course love. And all of those would be the main tenets that I would wish people would be able to hold in their lives. And with that, it would bring great life. It's a life flow. And so that would be what I would wish for everyone.
Thank you. In our family, your Ramadan and Eid message to Muslims in South Africa, Turkey, and around the world.
Well, we wish everyone and Ramadan Mubarak and Eid Mubarak. And we hope it's a difficult one this year, because especially Eid is about coming together, meeting family, and refreshing memories. But thanks to technology, we can still do most of it. We just can't hug each other. So we'll have to develop new ways of celebrating Eid. But it also, like we said, brings new opportunities, new windows. So let's embrace the new reality, and let's enjoy Eid in this way. Perhaps there is a wisdom in this as well, which will help us grow in a different direction.
Rabia, any message from you?
When I think about the Eid, we are going to experience a very different one this year. We are not going to get together with our friends. We are not going to have our usual Eid program. But although we are in lockdown, we are going to be alone with the family only. But we can still connect to our family, our friends. We can phone them, message them. And then I just remember people in Turkey, like 600 babies in jail with their mothers, and lots of people separated from their families. Okay. So, yeah, I feel for them. And then I feel real Eid going to be when they reunited to their families. So I pray for the world to become a place of justice, love, and peace. And then I think we are going to celebrate.
Inshallah, God willing.
Yes.
Eid Mubarak!
Yay.
Stunning, beautiful. Thank you so much. It's been an absolutely brilliant conversation, uplifting, inspiring, empowering. And what I think is, it may seem like the dinner was small, but the ripple effect of people that are going to watch this conversation and everything that's being expressed is going to be massive and profound. So thank you very much to the Payton family as well as the Inal family for spending time with us today on Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together. Greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Reverend Barry Burr of the Cape Town Interfaith Initiative, and I'd like to wish the entire Muslim community a very, very blessed Eid celebration this year. I wish you all health and happiness, And I thank you also for this time of prayers during Ramadan, intensified prayers that have been so beneficial to all of us, something that we've all needed. And thank you for showing such unity and commitment to your sacred practices over this time. May you be blessed. May the love and the light of the Almighty God be with you. May you be protected at all times. And may the love of your hearts continue to illuminate a path forward as we hold hands going into this time ahead of us. Eid Mubarak.
At this time of Eid, we wish our Muslim sisters and brothers peace, unity, spirituality, love, and togetherness. Eid is a time to celebrate all humanity. I am with you at this time of Eid. Thank you.
To all the members of the Turquoise Harmony Institute, my name is Stuart Diamond. I'm the Executive Director of the Cape SA Jewish Board of Deputies. It is my absolute pleasure to wish you and your family a very happy Eid. May you receive all the joy of life on this occasion of Eid. Eid Mubarak. May you be blessed with kindness, patience and love. And may this time with your families in lockdown be one of joy, one of spiritual growth, and one where you find each other. And please God, next year we may all come together once again to celebrate iftaar dinners and to celebrate Eid together. Thank you and God bless.
My name is Raz. I'm an Anglican priest and I would like to wish all of you, my Muslim family and friends, Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak to everyone.
We are going through a very difficult time at the moment, a difficult period in the world, but it is a time when we realize the importance of our religion, our holy days, and although, as usual, we cannot all get together physically to celebrate this important day of Eid, spiritually we can reach out to many all over the world to say we are with you. Have a wonderful celebration of Eid and may Allah shower His blessings on you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Marhaba. I'm Salma Patel, Executive Producer of Newsbreak on Lotus FM and SABC News Editor in KwaZulu-Natal. I would like to wish everyone a wonderful Eid Mubarak. May your homes be filled with peace, love and prosperity and lots of happiness. Even though we are in lockdown during this time as we are battling COVID-19, I hope our families and our friends are happy and that you enjoy Eid.
On behalf of Refugee Social Services, I would like to wish you all a very peaceful Eid during these very trying times. Eid Mubarak.
On behalf of the Jewish community, we wish our Muslim brothers and sisters an Eid Mubarak. We wish you a year filled with purpose, with meaning, and with love.
With an incomparable joy in my heart, I wish you all a blessed Eid Mubarak. May Allah help us overcome this very dark period in human history. As long as you keep faith in Allah, no evil or calamity can destroy your will to survive. May this beautiful and spiritual occasion of Eid give you all the reasons to make your life even more beautiful. May the blessings of Allah be with you and your family forever and always. Eid Mubarak.
The Turquoise Harmony Institute focuses on dialogue and social cohesion. We have a beautiful video to share with you with a very important message on the importance of religious tolerance, of religious solidarity, of interfaith love and peace. This video is called Religious Tolerance is a Must. Let's watch it together.
Respect the religious beliefs of others. Tolerance is a good cornerstone on which to build human relationships. When one views the slaughter and suffering caused by religious intolerance down all the history of man and into modern times, one can see that intolerance is a very non-survival activity. Religious tolerance does not mean one cannot express his own beliefs. It does mean that seeking to undermine or attack the religious faith and beliefs of another has always been a short road to trouble. Philosophers since the times of ancient Greece have disputed with one another about the nature of God, man, and the universe. The opinions of authorities ebb and flow. Just now, the philosophies of mechanism and materialism, dating as far back as ancient Egypt and Greece, are the fad. They seek to assert that all is matter and overlook that, neat as their explanations of evolution may be, they still do not rule out additional factors that might be at work, that might be merely using such things as evolution. They are today the official philosophies and are even taught in schools. They have their own zealots who attack the beliefs and religions of others. The result can be intolerance and contention. If all the brightest minds since the 5th century BC or before have never been able to agree on the subject of religion or anti-religion, it is an arena of combat between people that one would do well to stay out of. In this sea of contention, one bright principle has emerged. The right to believe as one chooses. Faith and belief do not necessarily surrender to logic. They cannot even be declared to be illogical. They can be things quite apart. Any advice one might give another on this subject is safest when it simply asserts the right to believe as one chooses. One is at liberty to hold up his own beliefs for acceptance. One is at risk when he seeks to assault the beliefs of others, much more so when he attacks and seeks to harm them because of their religious convictions. Man, since the dawn of the species, has taken great consolation and joy in his religions. Even the mechanist and materialist of today sound much like the priests of old as they spread their dogma. Men without faith are a pretty sorry lot. They can even be given something to have faith in. But when they have religious beliefs, respect them. The way to happiness can become contentious when one fails to respect the religious beliefs of others.
And I would like to take this opportunity of wishing you all Eid Mubarak. I hope that you have found this period of time of fasting to be spiritually uplifting. I know it's been different for you because unlike other occasions where you meet with family and friends, you've all been locked away in isolation. But I really hope that you still have found that it's been a very, very special Ramadan for you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rihana Khan Parker and I am from Cape Town. Thank you to the Turquoise Harmony Institute for giving me this opportunity to wish my friends, family and friends of the Turquoise Harmony Institute a happy and joyous Eid Mubarak, remembering all of those loved ones who are far and wide, those who are still under lockdown and those who are in jail. Wishing you a joyous day. Assalamu alaikum.
Have a blessed last couple of nights. May the barakah of Laylatul Qadr, of each Laylatul Qadr, I'm sure it's available every night, that barakah. So may it descend on your hearts and in your lives and on each human life. And may the Eid be incredibly abundant, inshallah. So lots of love and to you and your families, inshallah.
Eid Mubarak to my brothers and sisters of faith. Despite this Eid looking very different from what we are used to, I hope that you are safe and healthy. May the message of Ramadan and the words of Allah continue to protect us, guide us, give us hope, and serve as an encouragement for us to in turn continue to serve others.
Eid Mubarak, everyone. As we celebrate the end of Ramadan alone or separated from our loved ones, remember those that are in prison illegally. Remember those displaced by wars, conflict and tyranny. And remember those who live under siege and illegal occupation, like the people of Palestine. Salam, peace be upon you.
To all our Muslim friends, brothers and sisters in Abraham, may this year's Eid be for you a special celebration. We're living in extraordinary times. You had an extraordinary, challenging Ramadan, mind of Ramadan. May Eid be a very special celebration. May you be blessed by God. Amen.
In the next segment of Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together, we're in conversation with Professor Salim Abdool Karim. He is a clinical infectious diseases epidemiologist, and he talks to us about his experience of the lockdown, busy fighting COVID-19 in South Africa, as well as his thoughts and support of the interfaith solidarity that South Africans have shown towards each other in this very difficult time. At the end, he shares his beautiful Eid message for Muslims in South Africa and around the world. Let's enjoy this conversation. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ramadan Conversations Stronger Together, brought to you by the Turquoise Harmony Institute. I'm your host, Shabnam Palesa Mohamed. In this episode of Ramadan Conversations Stronger Together, we are in conversation with one of South Africa's foremost and most brilliant scientists currently at the front of the fight against COVID-19. Professor Salim Abdool Karim, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ramadan Conversations Stronger Together.
Wa alaikum salam. It's a great pleasure to be with you here this evening.
And let's start off here, Prof. Karim. How has COVID-19 affected your life, both personally, professionally, as well as Ramadan?
Well, because I'm working on the COVID-19 problem in terms of helping government solve questions that it has in terms of how to respond, part of my task in leading the Ministerial Advisory Group Committee on COVID is to try and provide as much scientific information as we can to government so that they can provide the best strategy that we can tackle. So that, I have to tell you, is virtually a 24/7 job right now. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just focused on COVID-19. And I think from the public's point of view, I'm deeply appreciative of the trust that the public has put in me, and I am trying my best to do what I can to not let them down. I would like them to know I give it everything I have, and I try everything I can do so that at the end we will come out of this, without having had a big impact on our community and on our nation. I'm still hopeful that we will have an epidemic that is not as bad as we've seen elsewhere. And I think the early evidence is suggesting that that may be true. It's too early to tell. I think in this epidemic, things change so fast that anybody who thinks they know everything about this simply is not true. There's too many unknowns. So it has certainly impacted the way in which I use my time, what I spend my time on, and it has certainly impacted on my daily routine in that, I'm sort of eating breakfast in a rush because, the minister is trying to reach me. He has a question on X or Y. I've got, the researchers working on a problem and they need some information. Just everybody's, and I'm getting hundreds of emails from people who have all legitimate questions, but I don't have the time to really sit and answer each one's questions. So it has certainly made a huge impact in my life, not to mention that, I'm a very social person. I like going to visit my aunt. I like going to, to see friends, and I miss my walks on the beach on Sunday. And so it has changed my life in so many ways. And I'm just thankful that, we as a country have taken very strong and positive, proactive steps in dealing with it. When I look at what is going on in the US and in the UK, I think, and I look at what we've achieved, and I think, we're fortunate in many ways, and we're fortunate to many people, not least, all of the doctors and nurses and healthcare workers who put themselves on the line just to take care of, the rest of us. So I would end off by answering your question with just saying everything has changed.
I don't think anyone's going to forget this Ramadan, and that includes Muslims who are experiencing Ramadan under COVID-19. We're very happy to know that you attended the Turquoise Harmony Institute's iftar dinners, beautiful experiences from the feedback that we've been getting from guests. What was your experience of those iftar dinners and what they contribute to Ubuntu social cohesion and unity?
I think the iftar dinners were an opportunity for people across multiple faiths to get together to understand our common humanity, to understand that our interdependence on each other is more important than any differences we may have. And when I think back to all of those dinners I used to attend, either at the Durban ICC or at the school, the Star College School, I think of the way in which we had people of different faiths come together, not just physically, not just to have iftar, but to come together as a meeting of the minds, to come together to explain how we can all be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
So South Africa is a diverse society and we have people from different walks of life. What kind of responsibility do you think that places on faith communities, and how do you think we've done during this time of COVID-19 to just pull together in solidarity?
Well, I have been generally impressed with the way in which people have responded to this viral threat. Many have, understood the nature of this problem. They understood that we were going to see an epidemic, and they understood that, particularly if you were older, that it carries a high risk, and that when we look at where we are in the epidemic, we are at a stage which is very early in the process. And so all of that together has meant that each of us has to try and identify what is the responsibility we carry as individuals in dealing with this epidemic. Because whatever we do does not only affect us, it affects everyone. And if one person gets infected, the exposure that it leads to, that so many people will get exposed, and that each of them carries a risk of getting this infection and passing it on to others. So each of us carries a very high level of responsibility. The responsibility I've been pleased that many people have taken seriously. But we also have to recognize that it has caused hardship. This virus has created us, put us in a situation that has challenged us, has challenged our belief, has challenged how we work, how we think, how we live. And for each of the diverse communities, it has had an impact in various kinds of ways. But it needs faith. It needs each of us to believe in the common purpose that we share in our society. We have to appreciate that this virus is not going to be stopped by one person or two people. It's going to be stopped by all of us acting towards the same goal and believing that we can make a difference individually and as a group, as a society. And so I've been particularly concerned that we have to find ways in which we can do things that we consider important. Now, to some people, that means buying alcohol, and so they take that very seriously. And some people, it means going to pray, going to the church, going to the temple, going to the mosque. Right now, that poses a risk, quite a substantial risk. So we have to find out how can we mitigate that risk, and how can we get to a position where we can go to mosque and do so knowing that it's reasonably safe. It's never going to be totally safe, but we need to get to a point where it's reasonably safe, because this virus is not with us for a month or 2 months or 3 months. This virus is with us for life. And we think that there'll be a vaccine maybe in 18 months' time, but we don't know if a vaccine will ever become available. So we have to find a way to live with this virus. And each community will have to find a way that they can coexist with this virus, and each person is going to have to find a way to coexist with this virus and begin to come to terms with that risk and live your life. And it'll pose many challenges, and we will grapple with those challenges. But I believe that our very diversity is our strength, that each of us will bring to the table something different, a different set of ideas, a different set of how we want to do things. And we'll hammer it out, we'll find a way forward, because that's what we do. As South Africans, that's what we do. And we'll work it out. As somebody say, and this shall pass, someday.
This too shall. Yeah. And this too shall pass. Certainly very positive words there from Professor Salim Abdool Karim. Positive and realistic. And I'm reminded, Prof, through your exposition there, the beautiful explanation that you've given us and your thoughts, that the interfaith community has certainly stepped up in terms of relief efforts. And I think that's quite beautiful as well. Can you perhaps just give us a few words on that before we start to round up?
Sure. When we go through difficult times, there are, three kinds of people. There are those who believe that, they are the victims, and they, even if not, they'll play the victim. There are those who will go and choose to do something else and hide away from the problem. And then there are those who go to tackle the problem. It reminds me a lot of when you are dealing with a fire. Everyone runs away from the fire, except the firefighters who run towards the fire. And so when I see the way in which communities have just taken it upon themselves to be generous, not just with money, but generous in spirit, generous in their heart, and generous in the way they give so freely of their time. And I have seen the way they have done that. And that is part of what gives me great hope, actually, when I see how much people care for those less fortunate. And I just want to say to all of them, a big thank you.
Beautiful words there from Professor Salim Abdool Karim. And then finally, Prof, will you please share with us, with Muslims in South Africa and around the world, your wishes for Ramadan and for Eid?
So I wish everyone Ramadan Mubarak, even though we have a few days to go, and know that Eid is around the corner. And as we reflect on these last few days of what is certainly the most unusual Eid of any one of our lifetimes, we will emerge out of it stronger. We have never let adversity defeat us in the past. There is no reason to believe, and there is no reason to concede defeat to this virus at this time. Indeed, I say to all of you that Ramadan is the time when we can stand together. We can stand together even though we have to stand apart, but we stand together in spirit. And we stand together in taking on the challenges of our country, taking on the challenges of our deen, and taking on the challenges of trying to make our country and our nation stronger and better. Thank you.
Let's stand together. Wise words for a Ramadan and a Eid wish coming to us from Professor Salim Abdool Karim, one of South Africa's foremost scientists, heavily involved in the fight against COVID-19. And when those realistic and positive words, we believe that as a nation, we will overcome. Professor, thank you very much for spending some time with us today on Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 3 of Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together. We trust you've enjoyed this uplifting, inspiring, and empowering episode with us. We've certainly enjoyed bringing you this beautiful and empowering content from episode 1 to episode 3. If you have any feedback for us, you're welcome to share it via our social media handles at Turquoise HI, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. The message, of course, running through all 3 episodes is religious tolerance, it's interfaith solidarity, it's harmony, it's love, it's unity and peace. For South Africans in particular, it encapsulates the word Ubuntu, or Umuntu Gumuntu Gabantu. I am because you are. Your humanity is wrapped up in my existence. My life matters because your life matters. We may have come to the end of the 3 episodes in this series, Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together, but we'll keep the conversation going because the Turquoise Harmony Institute believes in keeping conversations, dialogue, interfaith solidarity, and Ubuntu at the front of our minds at all times. And of course, we'd love to hear your ideas on how we can continue to make our country and our world a better place. In this very difficult and challenging time in our country, South Africa, and around the world, where the whole world is seeking to be united and be connected, the Turquoise Harmony Institute shares our blessed and beautifully sincere Eid greetings to every Muslim in South Africa, in Turkey, and around the world. We wish you a joyous, a peaceful, and a blessed Eid Mubarak. Signing off for this edition of Ramadan Conversations, Stronger Together, I am Shabnam Palesa Mohamed for the Turquoise Harmony Institute. Assalamu alaikum.